Snow and rainfall in Arizona's high country forests are critical to our water supply. But right now, much of that forest is overgrown, which means less water is able to flow downstream. And the mass overgrowth can result in devastating fires. And this is one reason the Nature Conservancy is bringing technology to the woods.
Northern Arizona is home to the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world. Over 2 million acres of continuous ponderosa pines stretch from just south of the Grand Canyon all the way over into New Mexico. And it's a very important watershed for snowpack and rain that drains into the Salt and Verde rivers. The connection between healthy forests and healthy water supplies is strong. An overgrown forest uses a lot more water than a healthy forest. Every one of those trees is like a straw pulling water out of our water supplies.
Private logging operations are thinning overgrown areas to help the forest return to healthy levels. Fewer trees drinking from the watershed means a better quality of forest for the wildlife that live there, and ultimately more water downstream for Arizonans.
They're reducing the numbers of trees per acre and leaving them in groups so that if one tree was to get struck by lightning, it might burn, or the ones immediately around it might burn, but there's good open spaces to keep the fire from building up too much momentum.
The era of fire suppression has greatly altered the density of our trees. So in areas that we used to have big open grassy spots and a few trees, we now have many small trees filling in. And we now are in a structure that's much more susceptible to catastrophic fire.
In 2011, the wildfire roared through forests in the White Mountains. The largest wildfire in Arizona's history, claimed over $100 million in estimated costs for fire suppression and rehabilitation, and left more than 100 million acres of charred wilderness in its wake. Water quality in scorched areas suffers as well.
Our watersheds are affected by these fires after the fire is put out by sedimentation. Our reservoirs are at risk of filling up with dirt and logs, and the costs associated with that are very great. Preventing the catastrophic effects of fire is protecting our water supplies.
Huge fires definitely alter the natural beauty of the forests, but they can also change fire management policies in a positive way. The Nature Conservancy is one of the stakeholder groups involved in the Forest Restoration Initiative, or FORFRI. FORFRI's goal is to treat 50,000 acres a year. That project is clearing the way for thinning operations and changing the Arizona logging model from the last 100 years.
Many years ago, our forests were logged by removing the largest, oldest trees in the woods. What we're looking at now is an economic model around removing the small and medium trees. The ecological needs are driving our industries in Arizona right now.
While it's great that science-based solutions are winning out over economics, the truth is that time and money also need to be saved to make large-scale projects like this work.
The reality of these projects, they're very large scale. Projects like this haven't occurred before. So we're trying to create a favorable environment for this to take place.
Economics is a big factor of what the Nature Conservancy is working on right now. We're testing new equipment and new methods of designing these treatments to try to reduce the costs both for the Forest Service and for the loggers.
As we scale up, we need to make it more efficient, and that means using some new tools and some new technology.
Technology like equipping Forest Service marking crews with GPS-enabled tablets instead of cans of paint when they walk through the forest to make decisions on which trees need to be cut and which ones stay.
And they'll say, well, we have 25 trees in this group and we want 10. So they will use a stylus and create a little shape on that screen, designate it as leave 10 trees in this spot, and then they'll move on to the next one. We're then able to take these maps that the marking crews are creating and put them into the cab of the machine removing the trees. So they're given very specific information about what to do and where to do it.
Early tests with the tablets have shown marking crews can be 5 times more efficient than the paint and hike method.
And then also we're putting monitoring data in the hands of the loggers now. So the loggers aren't just out cutting trees, they're collecting data. We're able to use that information to assess the changes that we're making across our forests at a great scale at a very minimal cost. If we want to be able to thin 50,000 acres a year, we need to be able to track that work at that scale. So it's really a win-win scenario when the Forest Service can effectively lay out these projects and prep them for the loggers, and the loggers can implement these restoration projects effectively.
And it's a win for water too, which makes it a win for all of us.
So as we restore the natural conditions of our forest, we're going to have more water staying in the ground. That's eventually going to drain through our streams and rivers into things like the Verde River and the Salt River, which are very important for the communities here in Arizona.